All right, 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Committee members, Mr. Jarek.
Julia Olson. Kristen Thompson.
All right, thank you, everyone. I believe we are going to have a presentation on our bond refinancing opportunity from Mr. Peck. If you'd like to step up to the plate.
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to say a couple words for you about Daryl. We had him here before, and he's our point person for more or less refinancing our bond structure.
Thank you.
We had some discussion on our strategic planning about money to save and upfront money. Roughly, we were looking at $375,000 to $500,000 doing the refinance. He wants to do a presentation on where we're at now, what we'll receive, and the process and the time frame. So, go ahead, Daryl. Thank you.
Very good. Good evening again for those of you who weren't here. I was here in June. I think I looked back in June of last year and did a review of all of your debt. At that point in time, there was no refinancing opportunities. We sort of promised you we would keep our eye on opportunities for you, so here I can talk to you about that. So before you, I handed out a presentation. There are a lot of numbers in the back that we're going to stick to at a very high level right now. So what we want to talk about is a refinancing opportunity of the 2017 bonds. Those bonds, of course, issued in 2017. They refinanced some of your prior debt, the 2007 bonds. And the 2007 bonds were actually originally the new money bonds or the capital projects bonds. I believe it dates back to the primary center was the project at that time. So lineage and refinancing, just like your home mortgage, kind of what's this original money was for 2007 and related to the primary center. So the 2017 bonds are callable on April 1st of 2025. There's always somewhat of a lead time when it makes sense to move forward. So you can, legally under tax law, close on a refinancing about 90 days before that, back up to about January 3rd of 2025. And you can usually lock in interest rates and lock in the savings about 45 days before that. So we're looking to be back here for you, should you tell us to move forward, at one of your November meetings with what we plan to be the results of a bond sale to show you again locking in the savings and what that amount would be. Based on current market conditions today, the savings to the school district would be about $380,000. Again, everybody talks savings, what about the costs? It's net of any related fees that we show those to you. And that's about 3.29% of the funded principal. That's sometimes a barometer. Obviously every dollar is important, but you always want to make sure that you're saving enough money that it makes sense to move forward. And pretty clearly, anything above 3%, sometimes even as low as 2.5%, is usually the threshold at which it makes sense to move forward. And these savings we'll take these savings in what we call reduced payments. This isn't that cash out refinancing that you hear about sometimes. You're not going to generate money. You're not going to get $380,000. You're simply going to pay $380,000 less than what you expect to pay. And the way we have this structure and the way it's been talking to Christians who want to do it is you want to get that whole savings up front and then basically pay what you otherwise would have paid. We'll see that here. Concord as a financial advisor, we're going to look at everything for you. We're going to look at both bank loans and bond issues. We would intend to actually move forward with the bank loan RFP process in like the September to October range, kind of test out the bank market. If that's the best and most favorable for you, we'll move forward with that. If it's not, we'll move forward with the bond issue. We'll certainly put together an offering document and update your credit rating in due course. Kind of market update, I think you all hear. There's probably a trend where the expectation rates will be reduced. The Federal Reserve will meet on September the 18th and again on November the 7th. So should they move favorably, hopefully your savings will reflect that. And hopefully we'll be back here with a higher number. But for right now, I want to kind of manage expectations, this is where we stand. So on page 2, this is really kind of the quick executive summary of the refinancing opportunity. Again, we're going to refinance a portion of the 17 bonds, just under $13 million. The interest rates on those are currently 4 to 5%. The refinancing issue would be a little over $13 million to again pay off those bonds. The current blended rate of that would be about 2.9%. Therein lies the savings. This issue does have, I'll say, just 5.5 years left, so you have to kind of put that in perspective again when we talk about savings. To generate these savings over, of course, under the remaining life, about 5.5 years. So I want to be clear that box in the middle, the savings or the reduced payments would be that $380,000 in the current fiscal year. Thereafter, you pay what you otherwise would have paid. No extension, no stretch out, not kind of generating savings at a cost at a later date. So very straightforward and conventional refinancing structure. The rest of the pages of this are really just kind of the numbers behind this. Page 3 is the sources and uses of funds. Again, your new issue would be a little under $13.4 million. That'll pay off the refinance bonds on the closing date and finance the related costs that are identified here. They'll be further broken out when we get to the content. On page 4 is the entire issue of the 17 bonds. Again, showing the rates of 5 to 4%. The net annual debt service in column 10, principal and interest. The remainder of this year would be about $1.7 million. Would be about $3.2 million for the next 2 years, and a little over $1.5 million. The key being, again, we're going to match the new payments to those payments. Page 5 is bonds will actually refinance. We're not going to refinance some of the bonds that are actually due in April of 2025. There's no sense in doing that. Why do you bear the cost of refinancing something that you're not going to generate any savings on? So page 5 is the actual bonds to be refunded. Again, so this will be the basis for the savings. And on page 6 is, what the new bonds, the 2025 bonds look like. Again, the average rate of about 2.9%. Column 30 there, you'll see again the savings or the reduced payments of the $380,000 in the current year. And again, there, to pay what you otherwise would have paid. So, probably even more detail than you wanted, but it's kind of nice to see numbers so you understand kind of the basis of the existing issue and what the new issue is. So with that, I'll entertain any questions. We're certainly ready to kind of get started on the process and work towards moving forward and pushing out.
What's the current debt service payment now?
I'm sorry?
What's the current debt service payment now?
On these bonds?
Yeah.
Page 4 is the current bonds.
Oh, okay.
So after your state aid, if you want to kind of boil this down to column 10, would be your current net payment. That's kind of your net budget, debt service. So aggregate debt service of about $14.4 million.
Okay.
And that's currently at these rates of 5% and will finally change. We're going to replace that with 2.9%.
The savings.
We tend to try to keep our debt service total for all the bonds and things that we make debt service on to keep them relatively consistent from year to year. I see here the amount of what we're proposing to free up, but I'm just hoping that we're not like throwing in one year too far out of whack.
Very good question. This issue, so right now, all of your debt, when you put all your issues together, is relatively level, which I think is what you're saying.
Yeah,
you're trying
yeah.
to do.
And so I see here that like if we make a significant decrease in the 24-25 year, and then the next 3 years are higher, relatively the same as what they were, and then the next 2 are relatively the same as what they were. So when we add that with what we already owe from other bonds, do those numbers stay relatively clean?
Yes, they do. The key being
Except for
that,
this year.
well, this year is lower because it's really only half a year by the time we get there.
Okay.
So,
All
again,
right, so
that's
we're-
trying to match the remaining payments.
Right.
Right.
But again, key here is, we're gonna mirror the 2025 bonds after this issue.
Got it.
So in a vacuum, the new issue will match the old issue, so if you're currently level, you'll be double coming out of
Okay.
it. So we'll continue to meet your objective. Any other questions?
The only thing I'm going to say is for this, depending on if you just want to decide what we want to do. Time frame that we get together, you said you need probably a vote around November.
Well, that would be the final vote.
Right.
That would be after we basically sold the bonds that day. So,
So you would need a vote by end of
We-
September?
yeah, we
to
just
move
directed,
forward?
directed to move forward. And again, saying, okay, we agree that at that amount, you should move forward, we should bring back the
Okay.
final transaction.
So is that like the
That
23rd?
when you
Is
vote
that our
on
next
it
voting
formally,
meeting?
you're voting on
Alright.
authorizing that borrowing at that meeting.
No, the 9th is a cow.
23rd.
Is it 23rd?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say sooner rather than later, again, to give us time to do the banking process along with different bond issue.
Well, we're not voting on it tonight.
No, no, no. I understand that.
So then the next voting meeting would be the end of September, is that?
That's fine.
frame that we can work with?
Absolutely.
And what are the dates that the Federal Reserve, you said that there's 2 different dates that the Federal Reserve goes through the interest rate?
Yeah, they meet on September the 18th and November the 7th.
Right. And then the voting meeting would be September 23rd. So we'll know whether they're going to do a quarter basis point or half a basis point.
To put that in perspective, again, I'm not saying that if the Fed lowers by a quarter, but a quarter, 0.25% reduction in interest rate equates to about $80,000. Again, just as a perspective of what you could expect, if interest rates fell that much.
Alright.
So you're looking at about 460,000, they lower a quarter point.
And those rates come down, the perspective. It's not always a one-for-one.
Never is. Never is.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. We will keep in touch, and I'll certainly get any updates to Christian of any, kind of material nature.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
You too.
You too.
So discussion on that? Yeah. Anything else you want to throw out there, Christian? No? How's it sound?
That sounds good on paper.
Seems to be. Call it?
Yep.
All right. All right, meeting adjourned, Finance Committee meeting adjourned at 7:14.